What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Truth Tracker live show. It's been a while since I've been on and talked some Vegas. YouTube already telling me crazy information. I don't even know what they're talking about. Trying to make sure it's all right. Feeling good tonight, guys. Feeling good. I wish this thing would get off my screen so I could test my live feed. I can't click anything up top because it's retarded. Gotcha, YouTube. Can you get this off of my screen now so I can see? Excuse me. If you guys are seeing me good, let me know in the comment thread. Tonight we will be talking Vegas. We will be going back to Vegas. If you are coming from my recent group chat, group video over there at Truth Tracker Truth Network, welcome back. We're going to talk some of the same things that we talked in that group chat live on the air now. I really want to get back into the Emerald Tablets of Thoth because the last video I did was actually messed up and YouTube removed it. So now I have to go back in and read tablets 5 and 6. Farmers for Truth, thank you. Hammer down. I see you over there. If you're seeing me properly and my words are on, can you let me know in the comments? I'd really appreciate it. We're going to dig into Vegas. We're going to go back some and we're going to clear up some information that I last talked about on the air many times before. As I explained in my group chat, that I was able to go back and recreate the Las Vegas aerial footage video I made a while back showing the dark helicopter N848MH. And as I explained in the group video live that I did earlier, I was not saying that shooting came from a helicopter. I'm saying shooting was possible, that it could have came from a helicopter. But I never gave an opinion, my opinion on the matter. I was investigating in my whole investigation whether or not helicopters had involvement in the Las Vegas shooting. You might hear a video start playing here in a second. Okay, maybe not. I'm just pulling up my live video while I'm live so I can make sure that it's playing correctly. So you might hear me doubled up here in a second. Sorry about that. Just got to double check. That's what you're seeing on this side of your screen. That shooting came from a helicopter. I'm saying shooting was possible. Okay. Looks like we are good. We are good and ready to rock. What's up, Tees? As you can see, I can pull your comments up on the side of the screen right here. You're seeing your comments up there. It might be a little blurry to you when it's small like that. Here, I can actually make it bigger so I can read your guys' comments. You can also see my thread, my live thread right this moment. But what's up, Tees? Nice seeing you tonight, my bro. Holy moly. We have forgotten Mandalay Bay massacre. I'm not sure what that means. Could you specify holy moly for me so I could look more into it? What you mean? Yeah, I appreciate it, Farmers for Truth. A lot of people did, and I was trying to change the channel up, which I'm still working on it. I'm still going to be changing my channel up and showing a vlog about my life mostly. But I'm also going to be still talking about the Las Vegas shooting. I was just so busy over the past, couple of months running the recording studio that I got sidetracked on a lot of it. But I did remake the Las Vegas shooting video, the dark helicopter, where I explain how the helicopter went dark. But then what happened was tragedy struck, and when we first got the recording studio, if you guys have been with me for a while now, when we first got the recording studio, if you remember in my old videos that in my old videos I had software that could do the job that I wanted it to do, but at the same time it couldn't handle everything I was doing, so it was causing problems. So when we first got the recording studio up and running, we had to have another hard drive, and all of my Truth Tracker data was stored on that hard drive. So when we re-updated the hard drive to run it for the recording studio, I ended up losing all my data on the Truth Tracker stuff, because when you hook a hard drive up to a computer, what ends up happening is, if it's coming from PC to Mac, you have to specify that it's going to be a PC and Mac hard drive. If you don't and you just make it a Mac hard drive, it deletes everything. So my updated video of the flight tracking software got deleted on me. Was really sad about that. Sorry about that, guys. I would love to make another one. It's just going to take me a while to make another one and get it updated. But in the meantime, let's travel back in time and go back and check out something I want to specify. So, back in the day, I released a video, and let me just read comments real quick. What's up, Voltron? Yeah, it definitely seems like people aren't paying attention as much anymore. Hello, Miss Dawn. Long time no see. We definitely don't know the truth. Tease, I see ya. And yeah, it's horrible when you lose your hard drive. It was a horrible thing. So going back in time, I want to pull up a video I did a while back and specify some things. Oops, clicked the wrong video. So I released a video a while back called Las Vegas Shooting, The Dark Helicopter by Truth Tracker. Paddock docu snippet 4 final. It was part of a documentary series that I did about multiple things that I found while looking into the Las Vegas shooting. Now in this video, I wrote, as you can see on your screen, I wrote here, as you can see on your screen, I wrote Las Vegas shooting proof, The Dark Helicopter by Truth Tracker. I didn't write proof just to write proof. I did not write proof just to write proof. And to this day, all this time later, there's still been not one person to come forward and say, hey man, this is what I know. And I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic if someone came forward and was like, Truth Tracker, you did a great job, but here's what really happened with this helicopter. Or even if the pilot came out and said, hey, I'm the pilot, I mean, I would have a hard time believing them at first. I would question them. But I would talk to them. I would take their input. I would listen to them. And I've been waiting for someone to come forward and say, hey, Truth Tracker, this ain't true, or you're looking at this wrong. But it's on multiple flight radar tracking websites about this helicopter. So we're going to go back in time, and we're going to look over this video, and we're going to break it down, because when I made this video originally, I think the original video was so long that people really didn't understand what I was saying. Now, as I specified before a while back ago, that I was investigating whether or not helicopters had involvement in the Las Vegas shooting. That was my subject. That's what my investigation was. I wasn't I guess you could say I was formulating an opinion, but I wasn't stating that opinion. I was waiting until my investigation got far along to where I could say, okay, this is what I think, and this is what I think. But what ended up happening was I reached a point where the only way to find the answers is if they released the FOIA report, and we haven't been able to get our hands on that, and we won't find answers until we get our hands on that, or until someone comes forward. Where is the pilot for, and I'm putting this live on YouTube, where is the pilot for N848MH Maverick helicopter that flew his helicopter during the Las Vegas shooting? If you see this video, please leave a comment and tell us what happened, because we're curious. We want to know. We want to know what you know. We want to know what you saw. And if it's traumatizing, I'm sorry for calling you out like this, but it would really clear up a lot of theories revolving around the Las Vegas shooting. It would help us. And all we're trying to do is find answers. That's all we're trying to do. So going back now, back in time, I did this video called Las Vegas Shooting Proof, The Dark Helicopter by Truth Tracker, a part of a documentary series. I'm going to break this video down in a quicker manner, and I'm going to state what my big question is. As I said, I'm not saying shooting occurred. There's an ant on my laptop. I'm not saying shooting occurred from a helicopter. I'm saying that is possible. No one has been able to come out and prove that shooting did not come from a helicopter. And yet you still have all these people who are saying, oh, it's debunked and this and that. All they're looking at is shooting from a helicopter. You got to look at the whole picture. Stop putting it in a box. That's what a lot of disinfo people do. They put things in a box. They use big taglines like shooting from a helicopter. This is crazy. That's what they do. That's the distract from, okay, involvement from a helicopter. What about that? But if you throw that question at them, then it's like, oh, we don't want to answer that question. Oh, I can't tell you if helicopters had involvement. But they'll say, oh, we know shooting didn't come from a helicopter, because if it was shooting from a helicopter, it would have been an automatic belt-fed machine gun. They would have killed 300 people. Okay, what if it was a rifle? What if it was just one lone rifleman shooting from a helicopter, not a machine gun? See how they put things in boxes? Stop putting things in boxes. It's not boxes. It's all investigations. You got to be open to all plausible possibilities. And people love to put things in boxes. People love to be, oh, I debunked this, or oh, I said that. No, you didn't. So like I said, it's still possible shooting came from a helicopter. Even after all the videos that happened, it's still possible until someone puts up on YouTube tomorrow a video of every helicopter that was flying during the Las Vegas shooting, and you can see it in widescreen and see the entire helicopter, each and every helicopter. It's possible that shooting occurred from a helicopter. But I'm not even talking that. I'm talking helicopter involvement. What was helicopters doing the night of the shooting? Where were helicopters? Why were there helicopters? How were there helicopters? What? That's the subject of my investigation. So, we're going to dig into this video. So in this video, I was able to get flight tracking software that was able to track all the aircraft that were in the air during the Las Vegas shooting. Airplanes, helicopters. And in this video, the flight tracker that I used was Flight Radar 24. Now I'm reading your comments too, just as I go along. But I was able to use Flight Radar 24, and this Flight Radar 24 uses the same flight tracking data as other websites. It's still the same on other websites. And I'm not going to get into ADS-B and all this stuff because that does not matter. Okay? Flight Radar, that's not what I'm getting into. Flight Radar 24 gets their departure and arrival times of aircraft and helicopters from the FAA. So I'm not even really paying attention to what you're seeing on the screen. I'm paying attention to the times. But at the same time, I am paying attention to what you're seeing on the screen, because it's the closest thing to radar. It's the closest thing to radar. And I've cross-checked Flight Radar 24 across Flight Aware, multiple other flight tracking software on the internet, and they're all the same. So I'm going to show you that tonight. So we know that the Las Vegas shooting began around 10:05 p.m. Okay? Now, where our story begins here about these helicopters and their activity Truth Seeker, if your screen's black, maybe refresh. It shouldn't be black. I'm not showing black on my end. If anybody else is showing black, let me know. So where we begin at is around about 10:50 p.m. 10:50 p.m. 10:50 p.m. Around 10, I'm saying that wrong. Sorry, 9:50 p.m. 9:50 p.m. Sorry about that. I was thinking about the black screen. 9:50 p.m. So around 9:50 p.m. And let me check the comments, make sure everyone's still seeing me. If you guys are still seeing me good and everything, you're not seeing a black screen, let me know so I know, because you never know with YouTube. So around 9:50 p.m. 3 helicopters take off from McCarran Airport. They are Maverick helicopters. Okay? These 3 helicopters are as follows. 848MH. First one, and we're going to pull up their arrival time and departure times. The first helicopter to take off, and you can see it on your screen, is N848MH Maverick helicopter. Now if you look to the left side of your screen, on that little box over on the left side of your screen, let me check the comments real quick. Okay, thanks Kath. On the left side of your screen, you can see in that little box to the left, you can see departure and arrival. And what that is Flight Radar 24 got that information from the FAA when a helicopter took off from the airport, when a helicopter arrived back at the airport. So those numbers are ran through McCarran Airport and cross-checked, and the FAA submitted those numbers to Flight Radar 24. So our first helicopter to take off at 21:38, which is 9:38 p.m., was N854MH. It says its arrival time is 21:51. That is 9:51 p.m. So it took off at 9:38 p.m. and it came back to the airport and landed at 9:51 p.m. That's the first one. Now remember those times. If you have a pen and paper, write them down. So continuing on. Our second helicopter that took off from McCarran Airport is N858MH. And its departure time is 21:40, which is 9:40 p.m. and its arrival time is 21:53, which is 9:53 p.m. which seems reasonable. They go up the strip, they loop back, they come around behind the Mandalay Bay, they land. Okay, it seems reasonable time for that flight. Our third helicopter, and this is where the anomaly is created. Right here, I accidentally in the original video wasn't able to click the third one right away, but it goes up the strip. It goes up the strip here, and they're going to come back down in a second. As you can see on my mouse on the screen, it comes back down in a second, and I'm able to click it so you can see arrival and departure time. Okay, so here they come back down. So what happens when they come back down is, as you can see with the green line on your screen, when they get behind the Mandalay Bay, they disappear. Now, the reason for this is many plausible things, okay? One is tall buildings, and Flight Radar 24 uses ADS-B. But I'm not getting into that. So when they pass behind the Mandalay Bay, what ends up happening is they disappear, because the building blocks the signal to the ADS-B satellite tower, okay? Or a GPS system. Okay, that's fine and dandy. But what I'm looking at is the times of departure and arrival time of these 3 helicopters. Okay, the times. Remember, the first one took off around, what, 9:38, and then it came back and it lands at 12:51 or something like that, okay? That's That's the FAA reporting that helicopter touched down on the ground at 9:51 p.m. and the other one was like 9:53 p.m. Now the third one is the abnormal one. This is the anomaly I speak of. So the third one is going to come up here in a second. Continue the video up top here on the screen. The third one, our famous dark helicopter. The third one coming up here. Skip ahead a little bit. It's just I'm showing you the other helicopters real quick. Now the third one, here's the third one. The third one is N848MH, seen on the left side of your screen. This is the one that I couldn't click as it went up, and I missed it. But it's here now. It came back down the strip. So let's read its departure time and let's read its arrival time. Its departure time is 21:41. That's 9:41 p.m. Its arrival time is 22:27. 10:27 p.m. Dude, 10:27 p.m. The other two were like, okay, took off at 9:38 p.m. and arrived back at the airport at 9:51 p.m. The other one was like 9:40 p.m. arrived back at the airport at 9:54 p.m. This one took off from the airport at 9:41 p.m. and did not land until 10:27 p.m. But it took off with the other two as a Maverick tour helicopter. Doesn't seem right, does it? So technically the FAA did not check in that this helicopter landed or arrived back at the airport or wherever it landed. It did not land until 10:27 p.m. when the others landed like 20 minutes before that. But the odd thing about it is when N848MH, the one with the long arrival time, when it passes behind the Mandalay Bay with the other two that disappear because it crossed behind the building, when it passes behind the Mandalay Bay, it disappears also. Okay, so you're gonna say, all right, so it passed behind the Mandalay Bay and it disappeared. So then it reappeared somewhere else. It had to have, because it was still in the air. It never landed. It's still in the air, so you got to be able to see it somewhere. No. Cannot see it. The other two helicopters landed about 5 minutes after they disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay. This helicopter does not land for another 20 minutes. But yet it disappeared and does not show itself again until around 10:12 p.m. The most pivotal points of the shooting. How come it's not on Flight Radar 24? How come it's not on Flight Aware? Where did this helicopter go? Something's not right. Yup. Check the times out. Let's run it back again. Let's break it down. This is what I did in my original videos, and only people who really watched my videos understood what I was really saying. Not the shooting from a helicopter. Found an anomaly in the data. So let's run this back again and break it down. Around 9:50 p.m. 3 helicopters took off from McCarran Airport. The first one, N854MH, took off from McCarran Airport. On the left side of your screen, it tells you what time it took off, and it tells you what time it got back to the airport. It took off at 21:38. That's 9:38 p.m. Its arrival time the time it got back to the airport was 21:51. That's 9:51 p.m. 9:51 p.m. it got back to the airport. That's the first one. The second one, N848MH Maverick helicopter, took off from the airport on the left side of your screen at 21:40, 9:40 p.m. It landed back at the airport, according to FAA, at 21:53. That's 9:53 p.m. That's very close to the other one. Now, the third one. The third one. Pull up here in a second. The third one, N848MH Maverick helicopter, took off from the airport at 9:41 or 21:41, 9:41 p.m. and arrived back at the airport or wherever it landed at 22:27 or 10:27, 10:27. But yet all three Maverick helicopters disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay. But this helicopter did not land. Okay, you could say they disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay and then it messed up the transponder, whatever. But it shows that they landed 5 minutes later at the airport, which, okay, that makes sense. This helicopter does not make sense. This helicopter did not land at the airport and was still in the air another 20 minutes. But yet it disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay at the same exact time as the other two helicopters. But the other two helicopters are marked as landing back at the airport 3 to 5 minutes later. Let me fast forward here. So as you can see right here on your screen, the time that N848MH and the other two helicopters disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay, and you can see at the bottom of your screen, it says 0451. So okay, 0451. So they disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay at 9:51 p.m. So we see on the left side of our screen, N848MH did not land until 22:27. That's 10:27. So N848MH doesn't land for another 20 minutes or so. But yet it disappears behind the Mandalay Bay. Let's see if I can show that. Yup. Okay, so here they come in. Here they come in behind the Mandalay Bay, and you can see a red dot appears. And then you can see as they disappear behind the Mandalay Bay. In a second, N848 will disappear here. That's what happens with the red dot. It's telling you that something happened. It disappeared. Oh. Still playing. So at 0457, N848 disappeared off of flight radar 24. That is 9:57 p.m. N848MH disappeared. And it is not seen flying around. It's not flying around on flight radar 24 for at least the next 12 minutes. The next 12 minutes. What's going on? Where'd it go? 12 minutes of missing flight data on multiple websites. So I'm going to jump over to your comments real quick just to see what people are saying. Nah, I haven't worked with Hoover. Control base at Janet Airlines. Yeah, there's definitely Janet Airlines. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. That the English keyboard bandit, yes. He said, just a theory, dropped shooters and picked up someone. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible that this helicopter was commandeered, or something happened with this helicopter. I'm not saying the helicopter is shooting, even though it's possible that it could have been shooting. I'm not saying it was shooting, but I'm saying that something's not right. And I hope someone would come and disprove this. You know, the pilot, the FAA report would come out. Disprove this for me. I want to know. I want to know. I'll be the first one to support you and come live on the air and be like, man, we figured this out finally. And I ain't even finished yet with the explanation. What happens next is even more peculiar about this helicopter. So, just reading your comments. Okay, so I'm going to jump back over so I can finish the explanation about this. So now what's even more strange about N848MH. So we know that it disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay. Where did it go? During the most pivotal points of the shooting, it's in the air, but it's not seen on flight tracking software. So when do we see N848MH again? So you know, whoever was involved in this, they knew that this could possibly happen. I don't know if they knew someone would catch on, but they knew this would possibly happen. So what they did was, they knew, whoever did this knew that around 10-12 p.m. that night, another 5 or 6 Maverick helicopters were going to take off during the shooting and do a tour, unknowingly that the Las Vegas shooting occurred at around that same time. These helicopters would take off. Now, N848MH, what it does even more odd, it then appears north of the runway, right as the other 5 Maverick helicopters are taking off. It appears north of the runway and joins up with the new pack. And if you check all the new packs, departure time and arrival times, they're all the same, close to each other. And then you click on N848MH in the flight tracking software. Guess what? Even though it was dark for 12 minutes, something like that, even though it was dark, when you click back on it, to see what its arrival and departure time was, guess what? It's the same arrival and departure time as when it took off with the other 2 Maverick helicopters around 9:50. See, what happens is on Flight Radar 24, and break it down a little bit. When a helicopter takes off and it does its trip and it lands back at the airport, what happens is it closes out that trip. So that arrival and departure time are changed. It's closed out. So say it takes off again in the next tour of helicopters, you know, a half hour later or whatever. It's going to have a new departure and a new arrival time. So, whoever was flying this helicopter knew what they were doing. So right as the other 5 Maverick helicopters took off from the airport, it joined back up with the pack. And it appeared back on Flight Radar 24. And they did it so perfectly. That it looked exactly like a normal tour helicopter taking off at the airport with the other tour helicopters. But one thing, they didn't expect someone like me to come along and really look at it. If you click on N848MH, it's in that pack, click on it, guess what happens? It still remains with the same departure and arrival time as when it took off around 9:50 p.m. So now you have 2 confirmations that this helicopter did not land. The first confirmation is when it disappeared behind Mandalay Bay. We knew it didn't land then because it had a 20-minute arrival time. So it did not land for another 20 minutes according to the FAA. It did not land for another 20 minutes after it disappeared. Then 2, when it did reappear and looked like it took off with the other Maverick helicopters, it has the same departure and arrival time as it did when it disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay. Yet they did it so perfect. So perfect. Listen to this, guys. They did it so perfect. When it disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay, it didn't land for another 20 minutes. If you were just looking at it, let's just say, look, you weren't clicking on the information and you were just looking at the screen, you would think, oh, it disappeared with the other 2 helicopters. They must have landed. And then you would continue watching. Then around 10-12 p.m., you would see all the helicopters take off, and you wouldn't notice anything. You wouldn't, because it looks exactly normal. But when you click the arrival and departure times, that's where you find the truth. And I'm going to show you that on the screen. So let's switch back over to my main screen here. So when does N848MH reappear? So we're letting it play. We're letting it play. Make sure it's still playing here. Hold on a second. Oh, okay, I was paused. Okay, so right now it is, we're going to start it right at 10 p.m. Now you know that N848MH is still in the air. But look, do you see a helicopter on the screen? No, you don't. There's no helicopters on the screen. But yet you know it's still in the air right now. Okay, now it's 10:03 p.m. Okay, we see a helicopter. So in my video, I clicked on this helicopter to verify it's not N848. So it's a Sundance helicopter, which is already cross-checked as a Sundance and landing back at the airport. And you see another helicopter, but you still don't see N848, and it's still in the air right now. Where is it? Where is N848, bro? It's now 10:08 p.m. and you still don't see N848. Now you know that arrival time for N848 was like 10:27 or 37 or something like that. Right now it's 10:11 p.m. Still no N848 on the screen. Now you're seeing on the runway popping up. You're seeing on the runway the second row of Maverick helicopters about to take off. So in my original video, I zoomed out for some reason. I guess so I could encompass them all. So okay, so now it is 10:13 p.m. I'm pausing the video real quick. So at 10:13 p.m. we start seeing another pack of Maverick tour helicopters taking off from McCarran Airport. So we know that the other tour started around 10:50 p.m. with 3 Maverick helicopters. 2 of them landed back at the airport around 9:50 p.m. One of them had an arrival time that stated that it did not land until about 10:27 p.m., which was N848. So right now at 10:13 p.m., what's paused on your screen, N848MH is still in the air. Still in the air. According to the FAA and Flight Radar 24, it is still in the air right now, guys. But where is it? And that's a zoomed out shot right now that you can see on your screen. Do you see any helicopters flying around the airport? No, you don't. So at 10:13 p.m., the second Maverick helicopter tour begins with new Maverick helicopters. And as I said before, when a Maverick helicopter does its trip and it returns back to the airport, say it joins back up with the next Maverick tour helicopters. When you click on it in Flight Radar 24, it wouldn't have the same departure and arrival time as it had in its other trip it did 20, 30, an hour ago. It would be changed. That means that it landed at the airport. So remember that. So at 10:13 p.m., these Maverick helicopters take off from the airport again. The second row of Maverick helicopters take off. And who are they? Let's find out. So I paused it. And I think I click on them all in my original video. Hopefully. So I can read it to you guys. So the first helicopter is N854MH, which has a departure time of 10:10 p.m. See how it's later now? That's because they're just taking off now. And arrival time of 10:30 p.m., which is almost exactly like the first 3 Maverick helicopters that took off. The first 2 that were accurate were about that same amount of flight time, about a 20-minute flight time. But N848MH had like a 40-minute flight time. So continuing forward, then we have N848MH, which took off at 22:11 and landed at 22:27. So it took off at 10:11 p.m. and lands at 10:27 p.m. That's accurate. That's a new Maverick helicopter that we haven't seen yet. Then we have another Maverick helicopter, N821MH, which took off at 10:14 p.m. and arrives back at the airport according to the FAA at 10:30 p.m. That's right. Then we have N858MH, which took off from the airport at 10:09 p.m. and arrives back at the airport at 10:30 p.m. Then we have N853MH, took off from the airport at 10:12 p.m. and lands back at the airport at 10:29 p.m. All about the same length of flight time. Now we're getting to the good guy, or I'm sorry, not the good guy. It's a bad terminology. The bad guy. Let's call him the bad guy. Hopefully he'll come on, the pilot, and talk to us. N848MH is in this pack of tour helicopters. But guess what, guys? It's right there on your screen for you to see yourself. Look at its departure time and look at its arrival time. Its departure time is 21:41. It still has the same exact departure time, which is 9:41 p.m. So why is it right now, if you look over into the middle of the screen, it looks like it took off from the airport? If you weren't clicking on these helicopters and reading them like I am, to you it would just look like it took off from the airport like the rest of these other helicopters, but it didn't. Because on the left side of your screen you can see departure time of 21:41, which is 9:41 p.m. and arrival time is 10:27 p.m. Right now what you're seeing is 10:15 p.m. At 10:15 p.m. N848MH finally reappears and made itself look like it took off with the rest of these tour helicopters. And they did it so seamless and perfectly. To blend in. Bro. Now, I think I broke that down a lot better so people can understand it. I want someone to come forward and prove this information inaccurate. Cross-checked with the FAA departure and arrival times. If this gets to the pilot, let the pilot come forward and speak. He can speak anonymously. We need the FAA flight data to prove this wrong. We need information, man. Was that the last helicopter in the pack? No. I've read them out of order. But there's like, I think there's 8 altogether that take off around 10-12 p.m. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? If you know what, if I'm explaining this good to you guys so you understand what I'm getting at, if I'm explaining this and breaking this down enough for you guys, let me know in the comment section. If there's something you don't understand, I'll break it down even further. But I mean, it's It's almost like whoever did this thought you were dumb. They thought you were dumb. They thought you'd look at flight tracking software and see, oh, there's a helicopter over there, there's a helicopter over here. Oh, everything looks fine. But it's not fine. You got to read the information. If you read the information, you'll see the can't think of the word, anomaly. You'll see the anomaly here. There's an anomaly. There's an anomaly in the data here. Exactly. So proven wrong. So until proven wrong, it's correct. And that's what we need. And I'm hoping for someone to come forward and be like, oh, I can prove to you that this was a flight radar 24 problem, or this was a flight tracking problem. Someone please come forward and prove it. And I'll be the first one to go live on the air with you, or make a video and be like, here it is. Here's where N848 went for 12 minutes. I want to know where he went. Where did he go? Where did he go? I can't see it being a flight radar 24 issue, because if it was a flight radar 24 thing, when N848 disappeared behind the Mandalay Bay, N848 would have reappeared again flying around. It just did not reappear. Unless N848 hovered around the Mandalay Bay. Which I'm not trying to start conspiracy theories. That's not my goal here. I'm trying to figure out where this helicopter went for 10 to 12 minutes. That's it. 10 to 12 minutes. Where did it go? What was it doing? And there's even more oddity to this helicopter that I could show you. I think it's in this video. About where it lands when it comes back around. So when just like the three helicopters, when they get by, they go up and then they come back and they cross behind the Mandalay Bay, just like the other three around 10 p.m. they disappear behind the Mandalay Bay. I think. No, they don't actually. Let me see. Actually, Flight Radar 24, which is even more strange, the helicopters in this pack, in the second pack where N848 appeared in the pack like it took off, they take a whole different flight. They take a whole different flight path. And I'll show you that right here. So this is the flight path of like the 8 or 9 Maverick helicopters where N848MH appeared in their pack. So they take off from McCarran Airport and they go up north. They head up north, as you can see on your screen, where my mouse is moving now. And you can see them now coming back around. They come back down the strip. But look, they go in a strong eastern direction. They don't fly right up behind the Mandalay Bay. Look at them all. And the one lit up is N848MH. That's the one with the square box around it that you can see. Now look at that different flight path. They all took a different flight path. Now what you're seeing, the one headed straight for the Mandalay Bay, is the police helicopter. That's the one by Mandalay. Now look. I'm gonna pause it. Now the one with the name tag over it right now on your screen is N848MH. And according to Flight Radar 24, that's where N848 landed. That's where N848 landed, bro. How many anomalies do we have to have with one helicopter for people to look at this? Supposedly that's where N848 landed. It didn't even land at the airport. Which this is up for debate. This is up for debate where it landed, because it could have, all these helicopters. But see, the problem is the rest of the Maverick helicopters that come around in the second pack that took off around 10:12, 10:15 p.m. The rest of them all show their whole flight path. They go up the strip, they come back down, they fly in an easterly direction, then they come south of the airport, then they turn, then they come up into the airport, and then they disappear off Flight Radar 24 and land at the airport. The one on your screen right now, the one up, if you can see up here, sorry, my fingers are messed up, over here, I don't think I can point at it, can I? No, I'm behind it. The one you see with the square box above it, I'll pull it up big again. The one you see with the square box above it, and it's red, it's showing you that's where that helicopter landed, which there's nothing there. In my other videos you can look up on my channel, that's just desert where it landed, and like an industrial park. It's an industrial park right here where that helicopter supposedly landed, which is up for debate. Maybe it got behind the buildings or something, but what's not up for debate is that this helicopter kept the same departure and arrival time throughout its entire flight. So please bring someone forward. Bring someone forward who can say, hey, Truth Tracker, this is what I know. This is the proof of that. This is how I can prove that. And I'm not talking ADS-B systems or none of that. I'm talking departure and arrival times. It's the same on every flight tracker software on the internet. That this helicopter disappeared. And no one can come forward and tell me what happened for 10 to 12 minutes? Across the whole internet, no one can come forward and tell me. I want to know. Bring them forward. The pilot, the police. Right. I agree, Fallen Spy. As I said before, it says on Flight Radar 24's website that departure and arrival times are received from the FAA. So separated from what Flight Radar 24 gathers on ADS-B systems, they get their arrival and departure times from the FAA. Cross-check. They cross-check it. So those times are correct. Alan, I understand what you're saying here, bud, but Alan, it landed in the desert. It landed in the desert in an industrial park where no houses are. If you go back and watch my other videos, I said that's up for debate. What's not up for debate is the time anomaly and it not being seen on flight tracking software. That's not up for debate. Now, where it landed is up for debate. But what's not up for debate is that it disappeared off of flight tracking software for 10 to 15 minutes. In the most pivotal, I can't never say that word right. Pivotal moments of the Las Vegas shooting. A helicopter is flying around not seen on flight tracking software. But yet, I did another video where I synced together. Alan, listen to me. Go into my videos. This is how I know people who haven't watched my videos. Go into my videos, okay, bud? I synced together. Listen to this. I took live security camera footage. Listen to me, Alan. I took live security camera footage that has an angle on the airport. I'm sure you saw the footage. And I synced it together with Flight Radar 24. That was the first step in my investigation because people were saying, oh, Flight Radar 24 is not accurate. So what I did was I took like a 3-hour video, security camera video, that had its camera pointed at the airport during the whole Las Vegas shooting. Yes, I have evidence that Flight Radar 24 is accurate. That's my point. I took live video footage from the night of the Las Vegas shooting and I synced it together with Flight Radar 24 in an attempt to ensure that Flight Radar 24 was accurate. And guess what? Literally in the video recorded the night of the shooting, as you watch on one side of the screen, it's a split screen video. As you watch on one side of the screen airplanes taking off from the airport, in the live video you're seeing the same exact thing happening. And as you watch as helicopters take off from the airport on Flight Radar 24, you're seeing at the exact same time, 100% accurate, bro. Go back and watch my other video. I can pull it up live on the air. You want to see it? You want to see it, Alan? I'll pull it up for you, bro. And I'm not giving the man the mic, but I like people who are interested in knowing the truth. See, a long time ago, people said that Flight Radar 24 wasn't accurate. And I did my homework to ensure. Here we go. Now we're gonna go to full screen now. That doesn't matter, Alan, because on my video where I synced them together, it's accurate during the Las Vegas shooting. Here you go. So on the left side of your screen, you have a security camera video of the entire Las Vegas shooting, and on the right side of your screen you have Flight Radar 24. The left side of your screen, the video, is looking directly at the airport past the tanks the entire time of the Las Vegas shooting. On the right side of your screen, you're seeing the airport. Now, if Flight Radar 24 was inaccurate during the Las Vegas shooting, planes that you see in live video footage on the left side of your screen and helicopters would not line up with planes and helicopters you see on the right side of your screen. And I'm talking exact times. I lined it up to the exact time in the live video, to the exact time in the Flight Radar 24 video. And guess what, Alan? They both match. It doesn't matter, Alan. It doesn't matter. I proved that during the Las Vegas shooting, it is in sync, bro. I get your point. I get your point. I understand. I'm right there with you that software can be buggy and be wrong. But the problem here is that I proved that during the Las Vegas shooting, Flight Radar 24 was accurate. At least during the time of the Las Vegas shooting. And thank you to 5x5 News for that surveillance video. As you can see down in the bottom left hand corner. Mike Turber. I appreciate it. I'm not presuming anything. I'm not presuming anything. Those who say Flight Radar 24 is inaccurate is presuming. It doesn't mean that just because it was inaccurate about this, that it was inaccurate. Look, dude, it can't be inaccurate if you take a live video and it lines up with the video footage from Flight Radar 24. It can't be inaccurate. I know. I'm not going to continue on with this, Alan, but I'm just saying it can't be inaccurate. Alan, I suggest, this is the last time I'm going to say it, talk about it, because I proved this point over and over again. Go back and watch my videos. I don't care what the company says. I don't care what the next guy says. I have the evidence. I have the evidence on so many levels at this point. So many levels at this point. But I appreciate your questions. I do. I appreciate your questions. I'm glad to talk to anyone and communicate with you guys about it. I really am. I'm here to talk to anybody who has questions. But yeah, I wanted to break that down because that was a part of my my updated flight tracking radar video that I was gonna do. And maybe I should start remaking it again. It's just a lot of work to put that stuff together, guys. I know you guys were with me. You were with me while I was putting them videos together. The funny thing was, and Alan, I'm not making fun of you when I say this, but when I was doing my investigations, and people who've been with me since the beginning can tell you this, I would come out with a video, and they would say, oh, flight radar isn't accurate. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist, this and that. And then I'd say, okay, let me find out. I'll look for myself. And then I would come out with a video, and it would silence them. Silence. I did it multiple times. I'm not one of them talk show guys, bro. I'm not one of them talk show guys. Like, I'll find out. Yeah, look, maybe I'm not the investigator of the year who will go out and talk to people and stuff like that. You know, I'm not that investigator, but I am a very good analyzing person. I analyze things, and I know how to break things down. And I set out a task, and I set out a plan. I hear you, Alan. I know. I sound like a nut. I hear you. I appreciate you stopping in, Alan. Like I said, just go watch my other videos, and you'll see for yourself. It's playing up in the corner over there. And the times sync up. But yeah, it was definitely fun getting back into Vegas tonight with you guys. I'm having fun. It's been an interesting night. Probably missing other people's comments as it went along. Let me just run back a little bit. Truth Seeker, thanks for coming. Thank you, Rustic. I appreciate that. Like, a lot of people who actually took the time to watch my videos, and I know they're long. They're long. I mean, you can't help but it be long when you're trying to explain so many things. And I feel like a lot of the problem is that so many people just assume what my video is about, and they don't watch the whole video. If you watch the whole video, you would see what I'm getting at. But it takes time to get it there. So you gotta literally you gotta watch my video. You gotta be an intelligent person and watch it. I'm definitely uploading this, Miss Dawn. It's gonna be it should automatically add into my videos. But this was basically just a go back in time video, to run back what we discovered about Vegas. And I did this earlier in my Facebook group. By the way, if you haven't joined my Facebook group already, please do. It's Truth Tracker Truth Network on Facebook. It's a private Facebook group for people searching for the truth of Vegas. Please join up, and we can discuss this live on the news feed. I also have a Truth Tracker Facebook page that if you search Truth Tracker on Facebook, you'll find me. And yeah, of course, you already see my YouTube channel here. So I thank you guys for stopping in. I just wanted to go back in time and review some of our information. So now other people on YouTube, hopefully they'll watch this shorter video. It's not that much shorter, but they'll watch this shorter video and they'll see it, and pilots or whoever was there who were involved in the situation can come forward and give us some answers. That's the whole point of this. The whole point is to put information out on the internet to a mass amount of people, and by doing so, it will reach the important people who will come forward and say you're wrong or say you're right. Or actually I said that wrong. Not that I'm wrong or I'm right, because that's not the point of it. The point is, okay, we discovered this anomaly. Okay, how do we find the answer to this question? Once we have the answer to the question, then we can move past it. And that's the point of an investigation. See, too many people get wrapped up in opinions. Oh, I see this, so I got this opinion. No, that's not my channel, bro. My channel is about, okay, we found this, we discovered this. Now we need to get it out to the public, and we need the public to answer back in order to find the answer to the question. That's how I want to run my YouTube channel. I want to stay in the center, stay in the middle of all investigations until, you know, like they say, innocent until proven guilty. That's what it is. So, I appreciate everybody coming out and watching tonight as we went back in time on the Las Vegas shooting. I will be going live in the future talking more about the Las Vegas shooting. I'm actually going to dig back into it because it needs it. It needs it. So, I hope this video goes out to the family members who lost their lives, who had family members who lost their lives the night of the Las Vegas shooting. My heart goes out to you. And all of my videos, I'm trying to find out the truth for you and for the American public. You know, it was a tragic thing that happened October 1st. Tragic. If I lost a family member during that event, I would lose my mind. I couldn't imagine the feeling. I would lose it. So my heart goes out to you guys. And keep sticking strong, all the investigators on YouTube across the world who are still looking into this. And also, if you have any other investigations that you would like me to look into, please join my Facebook group, Truth Tracker Truth Network, so we can discuss it. I'm down to look into anything. And if you know somebody who can give answers to where N848MH went for that 10 to 12 minutes, send them forth. Send them forth. Let's find out the truth. So I appreciate everybody who stopped in. Hope you guys all have a good night. This is Truth Tracker signing off. Everybody sleep good. Stay safe. I was going to say God bless America. God bless America. See you guys later.